Hi, this is Shane Willis from astrongpurpose.com. I'm going to take you back to that course one more time. We're going to talk more about how you can tie all the documentations, all the loans together in today's world, and how this can really help you with your rehab and resale projects. Let's go. All right, so before break, we covered loan documentation. How are you documenting your income and your assets, and what we saw back in the heyday. I also covered loan repayment structures and what we saw back in the heyday. Now, I kind of dig on those a little bit because the media did. The media really hit every one of those loan types real hard. And I don't really think that's the case. You guys are here to learn how to structure loans of your own. So I wanted you to kind of get a feel for what we were doing and what institutions were doing before the crash. Now, that pendulum swung way over here to the ridiculous. If you could do a no-doc, pick-a-pay loan, that's a little ridiculous. With one caveat. It's only ridiculous because the loan to value was 90 to 95%. It's not ridiculous on its own merits. A no-doc, pick-a-pay loan. Those two do not kill a deal for me right now. If I look at somebody and they say, look, I don't want to give you any documentation, you can pull my credit score just to see where I'm at, but I don't want to tell you how much I make, I don't want to tell you how much I have in the bank, and I want a pick-a-pay loan. Okay. I might look at that. Now, if they say 90%, I'll go tell them to jump off a bridge. I'm not doing that. But what if they said 20? 20% of the value, I have an appraisal sitting here at $200,000, and they only want to borrow 40 grand. And that's the first lien. Well, wait a minute now. So I don't want you to think that all those loans have no place in the marketplace and have no place with what we're doing now. I want you to look at the different aspects of the loan. So we're going to start with credit. Is credit everything? No, it's not. I don't care if you have a 420 and it takes, I think you start at 350. That's for just spelling your name right. I really don't care if you have a 420. Again, if you're only asking me for 25%, we'll talk. I don't care if you have a 420. But credit's where we need to start. The next one, big, obviously, remember we talked about this, loan to value. What's the loan to value we're wanting to give them? Or what's the loan to value people are asking for? Or maybe you're asking for it. I don't know. So what is our loan to value that we're looking for? And then what's the repayment structure? Now, the one thing I love about real estate is that it's so fluid. It's tough for me to teach this because I've seen so many different ways of doing it. Each deal really is unique. And that's one of the things I love about this business. It's all unique. You can have a different structure than she does. Same house. But I could be looking at you both as investors and go, which one do I like? So you have to structure it based off of these three things. So let's roll over it. Credit. In my mind, and in the manual that I'm giving you, I sell this as an ebook for $17.99 online. I'm giving it to you for coming to class. In the manual, we start at $720. Now, there are other hard monies that start at $740 or $760. I start at $720. If you're above a $720, you're good for me. I might go higher on your LTV, and your repay might have better favorable terms, which under repay, you need to look at terms. I forgot about that. So terms could be, how are we doing the loan? Are we going to do pick a pay? Are we going to do interest only? Are we going to do fully amortized? Is there going to be a balloon? All those aspects. So it all starts with credit. What's your credit? 720 and above, great credit. 680 to 720, good credit. 620 to 660, fair credit. 620 to 550, poor credit. Below 550, not credit worthy. Now I'm hesitant when I say that because I just got finished telling you the next step is here. So in that manual that you're getting, okay, if you have a 500 credit score, great. What's the LTV they're looking for? What is the LTV you're willing to offer? I'm willing to offer somebody under a 550 credit score up to 50% LTV. Sometimes I stop at 40. Really depends on the deal because I'm going to look not only at their credit score, but I'm going to look at their credit. Why is it a 550 credit score? Why is it a 520 credit score? Is the only thing on their credit score is a bad medical bill. They don't have any credit. And that's what's really kind of tripping the score up some. Okay, that might be a case that we need to look at maybe giving them a little bit better terms. So I'm going to really look at their credit report. So let's say we've got average, 620 to 680. We're not really all that high. I'll call that good. 660 score is fine. There's a reason they're coming to you as a hard money lender. So this whole 100% financing needs to go out the window. We don't do 100% financing. You want 100% financing? Go get a USDA loan. Go get a VA loan. But of course you had to serve in the military for that. We don't do 100% financing. It's just not what we do. You're asking me to finance you. I'm not doing 100%. I want you to have some skin in the game. And to be honest, I don't do 90% financing. I don't care if you have a 780 credit score. I don't care. If you got a 780 credit score, why are you coming to me? There's a reason they're coming to us. Does that make sense? There's a reason they're coming to us. There's a reason they're asking us to do this. It may be because, remember that pendulum that swung all the way over here with conventional financing? Well, guess what? With the pullback, it swung all the way over here now. And they're getting ridiculous on what they want. Everything's full documentation. Everything. I just saw, it's September 2013. I just saw to where maybe a bank statement loan would come back out for business bank statements. But they're at 75% to do that, 75% LTV. So the pendulum's way over here, so maybe that's why that 780 credit score is coming to us. There's something in the mix there that they need us to do. So yeah, they got great credit, but what else is there? 80% I'll consider. But it really depends on the deal. On the deal. Where would I consider 80%? I might consider 80% on a small rehab deal. Let's walk through one I just did recently. Property was purchased at $30,000. They wanted a loan from me for $24,000. When they brought me the packet, they said, listen, this is a rehab resale loan. Or project, not loan. Rehab resale project. Here's my comparables of when I'm going to sell the property. These comparables run from $75,000 to $85,000. Here's what it's going to take. It's going to take an additional $20,000 to get this property up to the point where it's worth $75,000 to $85,000. So he was actually doing a fairly decent deal. He bought a property at 32. He's going to put 20 into it, so he's into it for 52, plus holding costs and everything else. He's into it for 55. He's going to sell it for 85, or even 80. It's 25 to 30 grand. But when I'm looking just at LTV, guess what? He was asking me for an 80% loan. Now, the fact that he was coming up with the other 20,000 himself, and I saw that, and we put it in escrow to make sure that worked, I had no problems doing it. Because guess what? I lended him that 80%, and when I'm a hard money lender, I'm a hard money lender. It was 5 points to get it, so it was $1,250, somewhere around in there, to get the loan. And then there's a prepayment penalty of 4% if he pays me off in the next 2 years, which we know he is. He's okay with that. So I made 9 points on my $24,000 before we even count the interest, which was 15%. Since the buyer was a corporation and it's not a high-cost loan, we're good. No problem. He's going to make a decent little chunk of change. And my $24,000 made a little money off the next 3 or 4 months. So LTV is huge when we start to talk. I will do 80.